Okay, I think we're live on YouTube. Let me share with you the link. I'll share with you the link. There are two people. Let me see. Okay. There are two people. Let's see.
Let me know when you are ready.
Yeah, I am. I'll be sending you the link now. We're already on YouTube. We're already live.
Okay, I
Um,
will send on WhatsApp and let me share it around.
yeah, I'll send it on WhatsApp. There we have it.
Is it 45 minutes or
Yeah, yes, maximum. Maximum.
okay?
Okay.
Let me just send this thing send it around.
So Rastamani come in respect of the beach, Baba. The Masha Chidwa. God.
Okay, I've shared it.
Oh, my, my, shall I see my, oh, my, oh, my, that is please my. Madagan, Mr. Moto, better take away peace from a ghetto. Nah, any man to kill a man from a poco, machine better than Bola Indiana solo. Not to talk about one yet. Whether they leaflet, bullet for a chest, even my nigga, bishop, and then to for southwest. We made some even repeat our girls. Like these things, but they don't hear, they need not bump, make to blow and then I hear. But when I don't they don't in here, they chill and make it close to picture, but then I. This, everyone liberateur, on a mis au même à produire des citoyens. Maintenant, on reste célibataire. Can I see my months back, I received call from Gilash. They massacre my people, down my pillage. Now, so they take a make my pro, start keep pocket.
Yep.
You didn't look like a pillage. Not to talk about the one.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you are very much welcome to this very, very first edition of the Inta-View. We titled this show the Inta-View because it is an opportunity for our audience to have an insight or an in-view of whatever individual we'll be bringing on board as a guest. We want you to see them. We want you to see right inside of them, see through them, and we hope that transparency will be the order of the day. We hope that through these interactions, you get to see the hidden part of some of the guests we'll be bringing, and you get to see a different perspective of stories that you might have heard, and you get to appreciate discussion better, and you get to appreciate individuals' personal perspectives better. Ladies and gentlemen, on our very first edition of the Inta-View, we have in the building a name who will be very much known by a lot of people who have been following the happenings in the region, Southern Cameroons, as of 2016, when the crisis started and escalated. One name stood out, and for some time, a very prominent figure, and that name at some point was not as popular as it was. I'd like for him to introduce himself. How do we go calling you on this show, sir?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you for bringing me onto this show. I think it is important that we continue to communicate with our people. I think from the voice, without even saying my name, most majority of Ambazonians, Southern Cameroonians would identify that it is Comrade Mark Bareta, unless the kids, those who were born in 2017, who are now probably 10 years old, they probably grew up hearing the sound of the gun. And this is Comrade Mark Bareta, the humble servant, still standing very strong, still standing very, very strong with respect to the Southern Cameroons struggle. And I'm glad that Comrade Atemken has invited me in this first edition of the interview so that we can set the pace. We can set the pace and let our people be aware that it is Ambazonia or nothing. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that brief description of yourself. And like you said, anybody who hears the voice knows who it is. And the face, I think, would also be popular unless you're someone who was born in 2016 and you're still very young.
even though I've gone gray now.
Exactly. Exactly. Comrade Mark, that particular point brings me to a question that I would have wanted to say for later, but I think it would be okay to bring up that question now. You have grown gray now. We started in 2016. This is 2026. We are 10 years into what's called the struggle. You are gray. Kids who were born in 2016 can now reason for themselves at 10 years old, can now be engaged in some constructive discussions. Some of them can engage in some constructive discussions and can understand what is going on. 10 years down the line, you're still standing, you're still for the struggle. Tell us a little bit about that and why we're still here 10 years down the line.
Thank you very much, Comrade Temken. It has not been easy. From 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, right up to this moment, we are still standing strong. Like any other revolution, people become tired. So we still have a lot of Southern Cameroonians whom I would say they still believe in the dream of a Southern Cameroons. They still believe that Southern Cameroons is possible. But as human, they have become burnt out. They have become tired. And they have put a way to concentrate on something else. And that is just how revolutions are. You are going to have if you look around, you'll see new sets of activists who are using TikTok, who are doing something else now, and some of us that were there doing that talking on social media, hammering left and right, we are no more doing that because the revolution has evolved. It has evolved. The foundation had been set. People they now understand what everyone is supposed to be doing. But you see that 10 years has been a lot. It has been 10 years of raping of our people. It has been 10 years of massacre of our people. It has been 10 years of house burning. It has been 10 years of corruption. It has been 10 years of extortion. It has been 10 years of killing. It has been 10 years of a lot of evil in the land of Southern Cameroons. It has been 10 years of our people being displaced. It has been 10 years that most of our people are now refugees in Nigeria. It has been 10 years of most IDPs who are still struggling in French Cameroon. It has been 10 years and more of many people in jail, Mancho, BBC, Penteres, etc. It has been more than 7 years of Siziku Ayok Julius Tabe, who are also in jail. It has been 10 years of sabotage of our revolution. It has been 10 years of fighting. It has been 10 years of many deaths of our heroes, our self-defense forces, who stood brave and they have gone before us marked with the sign of glory. It has been 10 years of confusion in the diaspora. It has been 10 years of, in fact, it has been 10 years of the good, the bad, and the ugly. But it has been 10 years of the dream of having a free Southern Cameroons. And that dream, I used to tell people that Southern Cameroon's revolution did not start now. Those of us that came in 2016, 2017, we just continue something that our parents and elders already started. But at that point in time, it wasn't bought by majority of our people. So I would say, listen, it was just the right time. Like the Holy Bible says, there is time for everything. There is time to eat, there is time to dance, there is time to drink, there's time to cry, there's time. So it was time.
And Comrade Mark, maybe, just maybe there is time to give up. maybe there's time to say we have suffered enough. There's no fruit coming out of this struggle 10 years down the line, and it's time to give up. It's said that a wise man knows when to leave the stage. That's sometimes in some cases to give up. Isn't it wise to give up at this point, 10 years, and let the kids who can now reason for themselves make
It
life
cannot
of
be
what we
it cannot
have?
be a time of give up because it is a God-ordained revolution. Because everyone born and unborn from Southern Cameroons, all of us have the same equal, inalienable rights to be free-born Southern Cameroonians, to freely manage our affairs. So all of us, we have our own stage. Those who have given up, those who have fallen back, they had their own time and they have made their own contributions. Those who are coming up in the future are also coming up also at their own time. So the revolution is not static. It is not a static revolution. People come. It is in phases. That is why we started with a peace plant to den guns to AKs, and it progresses. Now we are in a guerrilla warfare, typical guerrilla warfare. Now you don't see that fighting in towns and cities the way it 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 used to be, because it is evolving. So
Maybe,
there
maybe,
is
maybe it is rather, maybe it is rather dying. Maybe it's rather dying, and the people do not have what it takes to sustain it in the urban areas, and are hiding in the rural areas where impact might not be very, very significant, or might not be
that's
felt.
that what makes it interesting. That what makes it interesting. Look at history. The regime in place, the government forces will always have advantages in the cities. We were even strong enough that we took the fight to our cities, and we held it for many years. The guerrillas will always have advantage in the hinterlands. That is what history says. So the Ambazonia revolution is following the typical strategy of how wars are being fought. The only thing is that we don't have that foreign support where you'll say, you know what, this is a material. It is self-sponsored by Ambazonians. That is the only difference.
So, Comrade Mark, ladies and gentlemen, if you are just tuning in, you are on the Inta-View. This is the very first edition of this show, the Inta-View. I'm your host, Atemkeng Victor, and I have with me Comrade Mark Bareta, a very well-known name when it concerns Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, and we are delving into some certain aspects about the revolution. Uh, Comrade Mark, so 10 years, would we say uh, we have progressed or we have regressed in the revolution? And what are some markers that we can actually look at to see that we have progressed, if your take is that we have progressed? And how long do we have again to get to our goal or to get to our destination, if your destination
The,
is an independent Southern Cameroon or Ambazonia?
the, the progress you are referring to, it won't be, it will be subjective.
Yeah.
It won't be objective. It will be subjective in terms of certain aspects, different departments, but not the revolution as a whole. As a whole, people may think that it is just standing. It is not standing. If we were just standing, Cameroon would have declared victory and say, you know what, we have won. Now it is over. But they cannot, because when we want to take action, even in the city, if we mean it, we do it. But we must be very mindful of civilian casualties. And in the sense that our self-defense forces have now learned some of the rules of war, how to engage in war, to avoid certain atrocities or not to do certain things that will cast aspersions on the revolution. So the revolution is like a pendulum, it's like a pendulum. There are troughs, there are the
Crest, yeah,
there are
like a wave.
crests, yeah, there are waves. So it's like you can't really. There are moments where you will be saying, "Hey, it's going." There are moments where we just go into our shelves.
Shells.
Yeah. So it is a pendulum. Take for example the Ukrainian-Russian war. Russia, as powerful, cannot even declare that they have won the war with Ukraine. But everybody knows that Russia is very powerful. Okay? All right. So you can see there are moments where you are going to have Russia claiming victory at a certain aspect. The moments where Ukraine will say they have hit Russia at the heart of something. So it is also like that. That is why you see they are now talking about negotiation.
Are we already at that point, or
We
close to that point when we
you,
talk
you
about Southern
we
Cameroons or Ambazonia,
we have
or
been
how long?
we have been at that point for a very long time.
So what is still holding us
The
back?
the only thing which is holding us back, it is the bad faith of Cameroon. You know of the Swiss
Switch
process.
stops.
Cameroon ran away. The National Grand Dialogue, it was a mess. The Canadian initiative, even when the Canadian Foreign Office came public and
Government.
said they are talking with teams of Ambazonia and Cameroon, what happened? Cameroon minister came out and said lies. You see, it's because there are also factions within the Cameroon's regime. Those who want the war to continue, those who want to negotiate. And Cameroon is afraid to negotiate. Do you know why? They know very well that our case is as pure as. That's why they have not been. They have not succeeded in declaring the revolution as a whole as a terrorist something. They have been trying. Yeah, they have been trying to pinpoint people. Yes, arrest 1 or 2 leaders here. This, that. But they have not succeeded in tackling the revolution as a terrorist something, because the West, they understand clearly that we have legitimate concerns. It only becomes bad when we tender legitimate concerns towards civilians. But if the targets remain on the Cameroon forces, legitimate government targets, that is the rule of war. It's war. War has rules. For example, you cannot catch a Cameroon prisoner, or you cannot catch a Cameroon military and you publicly execute him. Or that is, even though that's your prisoner, prisoners still have rights. You understand? So, and I think going forward, our forces, they have begun to. The truth is, nobody went to school to fight a war. Nobody. This war met us. All of us in the diaspora, it met us. As we've made certain mistakes, now we begin to learn that, what we said at this time, what we did at this time, it was wrong. This is how we would have done it. And that is why now we say SCAUF is in the best place now to bring now all our experiences together.
You're taking me to my next question, which was to ask about SCAUF. To first of all recognize that you are, I think, the spokesperson of SCAUF.
That's
So
right.
please do tell us what SCAUF is and what they are out to achieve, and maybe what they have achieved so far.
SCAUF is the acronym is SCAUF. We pronounce it SCAUF. Skahouf, we try to pronounce it different from Skakuf. Remember Skakuf in the days of 2017-18, Skakuf. And now it's Skahouf, which is Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia United Front. When I was the consortium leader, and when I left the consortium, I said to myself, I'm not going to join any government. I won't join any group. I will remain an activist. And of course, I was one time chairman of SCAF, which is an activist front. So that wasn't really a group per se. And I said, I will only join a revolutionary council or a platform that brings Ambazonia together. So when this initiative started, the truth is, somebody must start something. Somebody must be the thinker. An idea cannot come from everyone. So it must be someone to think about it, then try to bring people together. So some group of persons thought about this, contacted people, and brought us together. The original idea was to just get the various groups and governments together, but we saw that that was a very difficult route to take based on the history, the history of infighting. So through series of general assemblies that held, Amazonians came on their own individually, and when Amazonians came on their own, many of them came from they have different affiliates. But I think the one thing that all of us understood is that we need, at this point in time, no group, no person can do it alone. If there was any group or person that would have done it alone, that group or individual would have taken us to Boya by now. So we can only win in our collective. We can only win in our teamwork. We can only win in our collaboration. Because look at the world, how the world is going. The world, they have a lot of things that are thinking. Donald Trump in US, Europe, they have a lot of things. They have Ukraine, they have Palestine, they have Israel, they have now Trump with Greenland. They have a lot of things that are thinking. So our revolution, our fight is right down in the pecking order. So individually, we can't do it. We need all of us to come together so that when we come together in our unity, it will be easy for us to raise funds as a collective. It will be easy for us to have one voice, that we don't have multiple letters going to different diplomatic channels. So it will say, now it is time in US, all those in US states, it is time to come to contact your senators so that they can put pressure. Imagine President Trump just made a tweet. Just a tweet that I am hearing about Southern Cameroons fight going on. What is Cameroon government doing? I need it solved now. You will see how Cameroon government will shake because Trump has the power, but he can only make the such tweets through diplomacy. Because for people to speak to him that this is something happening in this area, you do it. How did when Trump made a statement about Nigeria, the issue of Christians being slaughtered, it's not because he was reading the news or because he cared so much about Nigeria. No, senators that were close to him, they whispered into his ear and said, "Listen, you are pro-Christian. There's a country in Africa which is going through this," and then Trump, being whom he is, he fired. So we need also our people in US. We need that platform where we can carry out coordinated actions to get the senators talking again. They were talking in 2019, 2018, 2020 when the ground was very hot. But nowadays we don't get them anymore. And
exactly,
it's not their fault. It is our fault because those of us in the diaspora who've just folded our arms, who've relaxed. We need to go back into targeted diplomacy, letter writing, contacting our senators, making them to talk on our behalf, showing the gross human rights abuse ongoing in Cameroon. And I think Skaouf is in the best place to get that done.
So after the crumble of Skakuf, so many years have passed by, and we didn't think of a Skauf. We didn't think of a Skauf right up to now, and we're thinking that's the magic. That's the magic one we need. And how what are the prospects? What are we seeing as the good works of Skauf already? And how do you think that it's going to get us to our objectives, and in maybe what time?
Skauf is the only platform that for almost 3 months now we've had a constructive General Assembly where people come, people disagree, people agree, we've debate, we've debate and talk about a lot of issues. And we have been consistent. And we've succeeded in building a very good structure. The committees have been set up. Everything else has been set up. Now we are at the level of making sure that we constitute the leadership council. We are also at the level of making sure that we revamp our communities. Our communities matter a lot. Without our communities, for example, Germany community, UK community, South Africa, etc. Without our community, we cannot win. We need to get our communities intact.
Yeah, and Skauf, how much different is it from Skakuf? And where did, say, Skakuf go wrong? Where did Skakuf go wrong? And Skauf is looking at amending, is looking at patching, and is looking at getting better. How do we intend to go about it? And how do we avoid the mistakes of the past? If we cannot learn from the mistakes of the past, then we are headed to a future which is not guaranteed, which is not safe. What have we learned from the mistakes of the past, and see that Skakuf does not go down the drain like a Skakuf?
I think not even there were many other Unity platforms that people tried to do after Skakuf. There were many. So I will not even compare Skauf to Skakuf. In fact, we are trying to be Skakuf because Skakuf was our Unity platform before it went to the governing council, and then we had not the first interim government. So, in fact, what we are doing in Skauf is we've just gone back to the drawing board of how Skakuf were, And in Skakuf, we had lots of communities. They were very active. So that is what we are trying to build now. So we are calling on Amazonians in the various communities. It doesn't matter if you are 2, if you are 3, if you are 1, just come together and start building back again. And the difference is that why Skauf will succeed is because Skauf is as a result of the failures of many initiatives in the past. We've seen everything that we've tried in the past, why it failed. Lack of transparency. People carry their head, I am this, I am that, I am. Now, everybody everybody that they have seen that it is not, oh, I am the chairman, I am the this. That it does nothing. Those who were fighting for power, where are they? Those activists that were shouting on social media all the time, where are they today? So it is so we've learned our lessons. We need quiet heads, people who are sober, where we will not go out again in public to expose our tactic. Before we do one thing, we've already announced what we are going to do. Or saying certain things that we're not supposed to say. or come online and we are arguing against one another, insulting this leader, this, that. We've learned from that. Now, what we need is we need to respect people. We need to be very, 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 very excellent in our diversity, but understand that we need to work as a team. So that is what SCAWF is trying to do. SCAWF has a secretariat which was created by the General Assembly. It has a General Assembly which is the highest body. Our first launch was great for a new baby, was great. We have different committees that have been set up. Those in the General Assembly are part and parcel of those committees. The committees are working. The committees are the engines of SCAWF. The Secretariat is just an implementation body. Me, as part of the Secretariat, we just implement whatever has been discussed and decided by the General Assembly. We are now at the level of we've written to all the groups now and leaders to make sure that we try to bring those leaders now together in a leadership council. They have their own role. They have their role. So you see, at the same time, we are trying to make sure that the various communities are strong. Because the truth is, if Amazonians in the various communities are not strong, we are all of us, there's nothing we can do. Because mobilization begins in the communities. And that's what we're trying to do. And hopefully, with the blessings of God, I think we are going in the right direction. Some still do not believe us. Some still think that it will be a failure. But you realize that most,
I don't think you would blame people for being skeptical.
They are right. I would blame. That is why, for all those who are skeptical, I said it's okay to be skeptical. It's okay to stay quiet. Give us the benefit of doubt that let's do the job. Don't attack us. Don't just stay aloof, see what we are doing, and then if it meets your expectations, come in. Rather than going at the no. Because the truth is, some people, somebody somewhere must start doing something. We cannot just fold our arms and think that unity will happen like that. No, unity takes time. Unity comes from the persistence of the people, from the resilience, from hard work. Look at European Union, even United States. They are still divided between Democrats and Republicans. Okay, if not of the strong foundation, the United States would have divided into so many different countries.
Yeah.
So it takes hard work, and that's
one thing that
us and SCAWF are trying to put in place.
One thing that crashed or terribly destabilized SCAWF was the aspect of financial misappropriation or mismanagement. If I'm not mistaken.
No, it wasn't. SCAWF had no issues with the finance. I think the financial issue started coming. That was so bad from the time SACO was from my trip to
Boya.
Yes,
where people were about $1 million. Yes,
that was a moment where things started going so bad because the structures wasn't put in place. Money was flying left and right. There were a lot of accusations. You cannot even tell which is true, which is a lie,
we're not going back into that though. That's past. But what are we doing in SCAWF?
Let me come. And people did not. They did not see. They never saw the fruits of what they chipped in. SCAWF was very good. SCAWF just transformed to Governor Council because of the cry of Amazonians during that time from the different conclaves. And after the last conclave, there were a lot of people saying, "Oh, you know what? We need to form our own government." Even me, I was in that camp. We must get our own government. But on hindsight, in which I said it was a mistake for us to form a government. because we don't need to have a government in the revolution. We would have stayed as Skakuf, and try to strengthen it, bring all those groups that were there. But when we went to governing council, we went to a government, we start seeing people already were thinking that they were already ministers, prime ministers, they were already defense secretaries, or they already had positions. And politics always comes with corruption and infighting. So we brought politics into our revolution, and that we paid a very heavy cost because of that. So Skauf, we have learned from all of that, and we are trying to amend things. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, please do follow, share, and invite friends. You are on the Inta-View. This is the very first edition by Atemkeng Victor, host, and we have Comrade Mark Bareta as our guest, and we are talking about newly formed initiative or newly birthed initiative called SCAUF. That's the Southern Cameroons Ambazonia United Front. And we are looking at how the hope for this to take us to the stated objective, if the objective is to gain independence. There is something about Country Sunday. Please tell us a little bit about Country Sunday, the diaspora Country Sunday in particular. We know about the Country Sunday back home, where on Mondays the territory is locked down. People for 10 years have locked down their shops and have suffered. If you to have every Monday in a year, in a week, that's in a month is 4 Mondays. In 10 months, that's 40 Mondays. So in 10 years, that's over 400 days that the people have been locked in their homes. What is the Country Sunday, Diaspora Country Sunday all about? Is it for people to also sit back home?
The Diaspora Country Sunday, of course, we can't have ghost towns in the diaspora for obvious reasons. But what we can do is that we can transform our ghost towns into financial terms in order to help the revolution back home. So Skauf came up with the idea of the Diaspora Country Sunday as a means to link our people in the diaspora back home. Consider that for so many years now, 10 years going now, our people back home on Mondays, they have locked down their shops. Some have even suffered by locking down. Some have had their shop burned. Some have their shop being sealed by Cameroon government because they are trying to enforce that the shop should be open. And our people have lost billions over the years for those Mondays, and sometimes long lockdown where the whole week is being locked down. We've seen that. So we said, you know what if we come up with an initiative where to mobilize our people in the diaspora so that you also be contributing something for the revolution, and you can tag that particular thing as your own support for the fact that our people are locking down their shops. So it's a symbolic something that reminds us of the sacrifices that our people have done back home. So that launching I think was 2 weeks ago. It was very, very, very successful. And the idea is for people to say, okay, you know what? If I'm giving £10 every Monday, at the end of the month, that's £40. So I'll contribute £40 monthly as my own in quotes tax. That's what I will give for the revolution. And so we say people should choose, because people in the diaspora, they are students, some people are struggling, people have different financial weight. You decide how much you think that you can spare. Like if you are giving £100 every month, okay, that means £25 every Monday. If you are giving £400 every month, that you are dedicating £100 every month. So whatever you give at the end of the month, okay, divide it by 4. That is your own Country Sunday. So we want people to subscribe to. Now we have people, more than 70 people who have pledged that every month and they are going to be committing, they're going to commit £100, £50, so as their own monthly contribution. So we want to have that critical mass of many Amazonians subscribing to this contribution. Imagine that just 1,000 Amazonians just chipping $50 dollars every month. That's how much. How much is that?
Yeah, that's a lot. That's 50,000. That's 50,000
That's
in a single
50,000.
month.
Yes,
In a single
and
month.
which we know very well that not every Amazon we commit $50. Some are well to do. Some will commit 120. Some will commit 60. Some will commit 100. But let's just put that at the base. That 50. We have 1,000 committed Amazonians. Oh boy, that is money. That money can change a lot on the ground. That money can also change a lot in the diaspora also in terms of targeted diplomacy, because we need both. That money can also help also refugees who are in Nigeria, which means if we bring our little money together as one people, there's a lot we can do. But if we contribute it separately, this group will raise 3,000, this other group 5,000, it will do nothing. But sometimes we duplicate the work. We need to have a central base, and that's the whole idea. I know it will be difficult because people are very skeptical, but I believe that through the transparent nature and the way that we are going to get a lot of Amazonians who are going to commit to this monthly diaspora country Sunday.
Comrade Mark, if I'm getting you right, are you by this pledging or confidently telling the people of Southern Cameroons that the newly formed group called SCAUF is going to be transparent, is going to be accountable, and is going to have those values of an organization which wants better for its people? Should we be looking at SCAUF in that sense, or we should be?
1,000,000%. By the way, SCAUF is not a group. You mentioned group. It's a unity platform. You can call it like a country house that brings in all the people in the like a town hall.
Yeah.
I will be the first to raise the alarm as usual, because with me, when things go south, you know what? I'll come the first one to say, you know what, this thing is not going, or this person has done this, that. You know, but I think the gentlemen and ladies that have been put in place in the secretariat, in the committees, and those who have attended the General Assembly, I want to invite, tomorrow is Saturday, I want to invite Amazonians, the diaspora, to come tomorrow during the General Assembly. It is good for them to come and see for themselves. You know, it's not, maybe they will think that because I'm the spokesman, I want people should come themselves, be part of the General Assembly, join a committee, you know, see how SCAUF operates, and make the decision for yourself if this is something new, something different from what you've seen. I bet you it is something. That is why, you see, for the past 3 months, we have been consistent. We have been going, and we've had a lot of people coming to. Fidel Castro always said, is it Fidel Castro who said once that it is not the quantity, it is the number. You know, a little committed people are what matters. You know, we don't need 50,000 Amazonians to be part of the GA. Yes, Amazonians, we are more than 8 million. We don't need 8 million people to be part of the General Assembly. Some people say, who go with the mandate? The General Assembly, that will just, no, it doesn't matter. Even if the General Assembly is just 100 people, those 100 people, they are representative of the larger Amazonia, and they can get the job done. What we need is people to, because at the end of the day, we cannot give up. We cannot give up. Because if we give up, what will happen to our people going forward in the next years? It will be worse than what we've seen for the last 60 years.
There's a very important part of the the initiative SCAWF. There's a body in it that I want you to talk a little bit about it, not focus on it, but the Ethics and Conflict Resolution Committee and how it can be an instrumental tool in making sure that things align and SCAWF goes to the where it intends to go.
Yeah, the ethics committee, though it is one of the committees of SCAWF, they are independent of SCAWF per se, because I recall that those of us that we were appointed or elected into the secretariat, that body schooled us. That body vetted us. I attended a vetting meeting. I had lots of senior men, elders were asking me questions. They brought in my past. I said, Mark, in the past, you said this, you said that, you said against Chris Anu, you said this against Ayaba, you said this, you said this. How are you going to act differently? You know, so the vetting was thorough. And finally, they accepted, they made a conclusion that, you know what, you are ripe to be the spokesman. So everyone in the secretariat were vetted, we attended meetings over an hour. They will greet us with questions. No group has ever done that. And the GA approved that these people should go. And the ethics committee is there that level-headed, elderly people who have a good understanding of how this revolution is supposed to be going. So it's an important body, and that body is there if any of us in the secretariat is going wayward or so. That body will be there to pull us back and all to raise the alarm. I think the way that we have, as a collective, we've made SCAWF, we've made it in such a way that there's a good check and balances, you know, check and balances, making sure that nobody is carrying it alone.
Can we expect to see this check and balance also extend to ground zero, where a lot of things have gone wrong? I don't want us to go into some of those things. If we want to, it's going to take us another episode.
Now, let me
things have gone wrong. Can we see checks and balances?
Yes, there is already. If you look at, you agree with me that there have been tremendous improvement on the ground from our forces. And our forces have graduated. If you look, most of the current generals or commanders, we don't even know them anymore, because now they don't put their names out there anymore. They don't put their faces out there anymore. Most of them are now in marks. So the way they were behaving before, it is no more the way they are behaving now. We've had 10 years of training for them to understand. Now we have different crop of ground fighters who now have a better understanding of how this thing should be done. Who now understand that they too need to stay alive to see that Ambazonia. You understand? Now, if we see now, most areas you are hearing of unity warriors. Why do you think that? You don't hear much again about individual names. Bree warriors, Gorodinja warriors, Fako warriors. This you don't hear again too much of. You don't hear again ADF, Sokadev, this, that. You don't hear too much of those names. Are still there. They are still there. There are people that they still belong to their different groups, but now they have buried that notion. They now work more as unity warriors. You understand? It's like you have a military with different departments, with different camps and
different battalions,
different battalions, but they have one mission to defend the nation. I will not stand here and say I cannot absolve all of our forces. Then we will not be sincere. Mistakes have been done, knowingly or unknowingly, both on the ground, both there. So I think some of us and many other Amazons that we don't even know have been in constant dialogue with them. Sometimes we have to understand our fighters. They are the ones on the ground. They feel it. They feel it more than us. They have seen their parents killed in cold blood. They have seen their friends die in front of them. Some of them who are fighting now, they grew up, as kids, and they have joined forces. So sometimes the way a military guy thinks is not the way you and I things. You understand? Sometimes they can be impulsive in their action, which is understandable. So we need to constantly dialogue with them, discuss, and that's what we have been doing. And that's why you see on the ground now there have been a lot of restraint. But again, there is no nation without bad things. You always have one or two things coming up. It doesn't mean there is no way. I always say war is never holy. There's nothing like a holy war. There's no war that you've heard that good things happen. No. When there's war, bad things happen. The problem is
Ladies and gentlemen,
how can we try
as
to curb those bad things?
as we progress, if you have any questions for Mark, just drop it and we'll see if we can answer it in 30 seconds or in 1 minute before we round up. But we have just a few questions to go through again, and that will be it. Comrade Mark, the consortium, at one point you led the consortium, you led an entire people of Southern Cameroons. I still remember back in the days, 2017, you led the people, you communicated effectively, and we saw the mammoth crowds that came out on the 22nd of September, the 1st of October. At some point, you went silent to say considerably, and maybe you're now back as a SCAWOF headman or a spokesperson. But just tell me a little bit of your highest point as the consortium leader and your lowest point as the consortium leader, if you can think of any.
The truth is, I can't really think of any. I think the highest point is when I was given that mantle. It was. I know. I remember that when I was given that mantle, the first person I ran to was my late father. I went to him and I said, "Daddy, you are in Cameroon. This is what I've been told." My father never stopped me. My father said, "My son, if that is what you want to do, go ahead." He was living in Yaoundé. He would have been afraid of saying, "You know what? They would identify you to me. Oh, you know what? Stop." No. He gave me his blessings. My mother also, based there in the Southwest. He said, "You can born a child, but you don't born their heart." I make my own decisions. I have my own pathway. And they saw this with me right back in the university. So they already saw that trait. How do you want to stop that trait? Understand? I said, okay, that's when, boom. So I think that was the highest moment for me when my parents gave me the blessings and said, it's a decision. They cannot stop you from decision. As you make your bed, so shall you lie on it. But is that what you are convinced on? We can only pray for you. Lowest moment, I won't really say there's any particular lowest low moment. Like I mentioned, there's always a low and high. I think maybe one of the lowest moment was the period when, I don't know if you watched me. I cried online like a child. I think when I was on live talking and begging our people to come together, we were killing. Okay, so I was emotional, and I cried. And anti-Amba people were using that to mock us. Even when Comrade Eric that also wept online. They always use that, to mock us. But we are men also. Men can be emotional also. We have heart. We are not criminals. We feel very much from what is going on back on.
And I even know that at some point they targeted a family member of yours, and we took
Yes,
to social media
that
and
was my mom. She
yeah.
was arrested, and I think she made like 2 days or so behind the bars or so, but she was eventually released because they had nothing against her, Yeah.
Comrade Mark, for a man like me, a young guy like me, say I'm in my mid-20s, for example, convince me to be part of the fight for an independent Southern Cameroons. Why should I be part of this fight? Why should I, maybe if I'm in the diaspora in particular, why should I join the fight? And if I'm on ground zero, why should I even support the notion or the idea of wanting an independent state when we can manage life the way we are already managing and stay alive?
The only thing I would say to convince you is, if you're in the diaspora, the Europeans fought to have what they are enjoying now. The Americans fought to have what they have now. And if we also want to have that type of model, want to model our country the way that we see it here in the diaspora, then we must be part and parcel of the fight, because we deserved it. We deserve to be free and independent like any other country in Africa. We have the minerals, we have the gold, we have the resources to make Southern Cameroons the new Dubai of West Africa, where everyone, there will be millions, and unemployment will be 0.0000%.
Possible?
Very possible. Very possible. Where are people, you will live in Manfi and work in Boya, or you live in Boya and work in Bamenda, or you live in Victoria and work in Manfi. It's possible. Where 30-minute fast train, it will be there. It's possible.
And for a guy of my age, a young guy of my age in ground zero, why should he be actively engaged, or lady, why should she be actively engaged in talking politics and supporting the movement, or talking politics in general? And then secondly, why should they support the movement to free homeland, as you put it, get independence?
They should just look at their life now. They should try to have that comparison. How are they being treated? Do they actually feel deep in them? Do they actually feel?
These are people who have not known better. So
Yes.
when we talk about comparison, it'll be difficult to compare. Maybe the people of the diaspora would have seen out the outside world and know that, we are.
Even a child those who were born in 2016 up to now, they can tell you that deep within them, they don't feel Cameroonian, because they are treated as second-class citizens. They are treated as trash. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. So they have to look at that first. How? Because this thing is it must be a personal decision. If you are back on the ground, you can support the revolution in so many ways. You must not necessarily go and pick up a gun. Okay? If you want to pick up a gun, fine and good. There are many ways you can support the revolution. Don't just be against it. Don't just be a sellout. There are many ways you can support the revolution. Many thousands of different ways you can do it.
Comrade Mark, 10 years down the line, any regrets? Any regrets at all?
Yes. I wish in 2017, 2018, God had given us all the knowledge now that we have. Because trust me, thousands or hundreds of our best fighters have died, not from the hands of La République, from our own hands. From the rubbish we set online, from the things we ask them to do, from the exposure we we made, from the things we said, from the wrong direction, directives, advices that we gave, by putting them at loggerheads. Cameroon did not succeed to kill any of our forces. Our forces died from our own hands. That's my regret. I wish, maybe it's a regret, but probably God had to do it to shifter the good and the bad. God had to do this so that maybe in a new Southern Cameroons, when people are voting, they will know whom and who they are voting into various offices. But it's just sad that that came at a very high cost. At a very high cost. So I think
Yeah.
that is my regret. When I think of, there were forces where I was very close to, guys that were Amazon forces I was very close to. I'm talking today, the next day they are dead. It pains a lot. Hurt.
Yeah.
And if we think of all those generals, all those non-generals that were, all those generals, the Ivors, all of them who died, they didn't die because Cameroon, they died from our own stupidity. That's my regret.
I want to appreciate that sincerity, that openness, and you being vulnerable in that manner. It's sometimes very difficult for one to acknowledge the fact that he went wrong or they went wrong, and out of what they did, a lot of things went wrong. I think that's the first step to healing, and that's the first step to righting wrongs. And I want to think that if each and every individual uh, in the initiative of SCAWUF thinks in that particular way, then there is hope for SCAWUF and there is hope for the future. So I very much appreciate that. This one is just a little bit of an outside, but what state would you be visiting if or when independence comes, and why will you be visiting that state, Southern Cameroons?
I'm sorry, let me come back. When I spoke about those people, I got emotional, It's
I get it.
a pity. It's a pity. Which states?
Yeah, what state would you like to visit first, if or when independence comes?
I want to tour the hinterlands. I want to see firsthand the nature of the heroic activities of our forces. I want to personally hold the hands of our forces, kneel in front of them, and thank them. So there is no state is from Fako to Bui to, I want to tour. I wish someday God will grant us that opportunity
Yeah.
to have that tour, because I am very confident that we are going to have one of the best country on earth. I'm very confident.
I would like to take that tour with you, but for right now, I think we do what's necessary for us to be able to secure that territory where we can tour. I would like to get that tour with you. And if we are taking that tour, what's your favorite native meal, so that I know if my cooking abilities would let me make something good for you, or
Fortunately,
by that time, if there's a madam.
I should say, fortunately, I don't have a favorite meal.
Mm-hmm.
So long as a meal is good and sweet, that's my favorite. One day it is gari and okra, another day is kati kati, another day is bongo chobi, another day is fufu corn and jama, another day is fufu and ero, and another day is a plant burning plantain with red oil, you know. So it just depends on how it's made, how good it is. So I don't have, sincerely, I don't have any. I will not say fufu and ero is better than kati kati, or it's better than bongo chobi, or no. I can't,
I
because
think I think you're just trying to play safe, Comrade Mark, so they don't come for you on social media
not
and
even
say
that. Who
you have
knows?
stood with the
Who,
Manfe people, you have gone against your own people, but we are going to let that slide. We're going to let you off that hook, Comrade Mark, and thank you very much for that. Thank you for this session. We really very much appreciate, and calling on everybody watching to make sure this particular episode goes far and wide, share, and we are going to be having interviews like this. And just drop a comment, leave a message on who we should invite next, and the questions you would like for us to ask. And let's make this place a safe space for discussion and for growth. Any last words, Comrade Mark, before we take it home?
my last word is, Ambazonians on the ground, stay strong, stay committed, be hopeful, just be hopeful. Without hope, we will not get there. And for those in the diaspora, come on board, join SCAWUF. Let's do it together. Thank you.
Thank you again, Comrade Mark, and thank you, fellow listeners, fellow viewers of this very first edition or very first episode of the show Interview by Atemkan Victor, having Comrade Mark Bareta as our guest. We hope to have everybody you want to see on this platform, on this channel, and interact with them. Until next time, it's bye-bye from us, and see ya.
See you.